I still remember the exact shape of her mouth when she said it. Not the lie itself. That part had come earlier, softer, almost practiced, like she had repeated it in her head before saying it out loud. No, what stayed with me was the moment after. The front door was closing behind me. My backpack was hanging from one shoulder, and I had already stepped onto the porch when Lydia leaned against the frame, folded her arms, and said, "Good luck, loser." She said it casually, almost politely, like she was wishing me a safe trip somewhere nice. Inside, the kitchen had gone silent after her accusation. The bracelet, our mother's bracelet, the one with the tiny sapphires set in silver, the one Dad kept inside that velvet box in the drawer near the dining room cabinet. He never wore anything sentimental, never talked much about Mom after the divorce, but somehow that bracelet stayed untouched for years, like even he knew some things were too heavy to move. Lydia told him she saw me take it. She said she tried to stop me. She said I laughed. The strange part wasn't the lie. Lydia had lied before. The strange part was how quickly my father believed her. He didn't ask me a single question. He didn't even look properly at me. He just stood there with both hands pressed flat against the kitchen counter, shoulders tense, staring at the marble surface like it had answers he preferred overhearing mine. Then he said, quietly, "Pack a bag." That was it. No argument, no explanation, no second chance. I waited, honestly waited, for him to look up and realize how ridiculous this sounded. But he didn't, so I went upstairs. I opened my closet, pulled down my old backpack, and started folding clothes without thinking too hard about what I was doing. A pair of jeans, 2 shirts, my charger, a toothbrush. I remember staring at my bookshelf for a moment, wondering if taking one of my books would somehow make this feel less temporary. I didn't take one, and I definitely didn't take the bracelet, because I had never touched it. That was the first thing that felt wrong to me later, how quiet I was. No crying, no shouting, no desperate defense, nothing. It was like my body understood before my mind did that no one in that house was listening anyway. When I walked outside, the evening smelled like freshly cut grass. Someone down the street was watering hydrangeas. A dog barked somewhere behind the neighboring fence. And for almost an hour, I felt absolutely nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just blank, like someone had pressed pause on everything inside me. I went to my aunt's house, my mother's sister, not my father's side. The aunt he hadn't spoken to properly since the divorce. She opened the door, saw the backpack, looked at my face for maybe 2 seconds, and stepped aside without asking a single question. She made tea, chamomile, set it on the small table in the guest room. Then she said, "You can stay as long as you need." No interrogation, no suspicion, no lecture, just space. That first night I barely slept. Every sound in the house felt unfamiliar. The ticking clock in the hallway, the pipes humming when someone turned on the tap, the creak of the guest room window when the wind shifted. The next morning, my cousin mentioned Lydia had called. Apparently, the story had changed. Now I hadn't just stolen the bracelet. Now I had also broken a picture frame during an argument. My cousin said it casually while pouring cereal, like she was reading weather updates. But when I looked at her face, I knew she didn't believe it. That helped more than she probably realized. I still didn't call my father. Didn't text Lydia. Didn't defend myself. I just stayed quiet. Sometimes silence becomes its own kind of answer. By the third day, a sedan pulled up. Outside, government plates. The kind that instantly makes neighbors glance through curtains even when they pretend not to. A woman stepped out carrying a folder. She knocked gently, calm voice, patient eyes. She asked for my father by name. I told her he wasn't there. She asked where he lived. I gave the address. She thanked me like this was routine for her, and maybe it was. I never found out who called. Maybe my aunt, maybe the school counselor, maybe my friend, the one I texted that first night who replied almost immediately. That doesn't sound like you. No hesitation, no doubt, just belief. And sometimes belief from one person is enough to keep you standing. That evening, everything changed. The bracelet was found, in Lydia's closet, behind a shoebox. Exactly the kind of hiding place she had always used when we were kids, back when the things she stole were smaller. Lip gloss, loose money, a birthday card, tiny lies that everyone laughed off because siblings fight. But lies don't stay small forever. My father called that night. His name lit up my phone screen. Then his picture. Then his name again. I watched it ring until it stopped. A voicemail followed. I didn't listen. My aunt came into the room, sat beside me on the bed, and didn't say a word. That silence finally cracked something open inside me. And for the first time since leaving, I cried. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, into my own hands. The next morning, my father's car was waiting in the driveway. Engine off, hands on the steering wheel. He looked older somehow, like 3 days had taken something out of him. When I walked past, the window rolled down. He said, "We need to talk." I kept walking. He didn't follow. 3 days later, Lydia texted me. Not an apology, not even an acknowledgement, just, "Can you bring me my history notes?" I stared at the message while holding a piece of toast in one hand. Sunlight through the kitchen window. My aunt washing dishes nearby. Normal sounds, safe sounds. And suddenly I realized something. I wasn't angry, not really. I was finished. I deleted the message, not because I wanted revenge. Not because I wanted her to feel ignored. But because I had finally stopped waiting for her to become someone she clearly had no intention of becoming. And that was the moment everything became simple. I hadn't lost a home. I had walked out of one. And somehow, without meaning to, I had walked into another. The bracelet still sits in my aunt's drawer now, tucked beside old letters and things she kept from my mother. Sometimes I see it while looking for a pen or spare socks. A small blue stone, a velvet box, nothing magical, nothing cursed, just an object, and yet somehow, that tiny